Hello,
Um,
everyone, and welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Efros, and our special guest today is Kristin Bear, a founder of an amazing intimate apparel brand, Kilo Brava. Hi, Kristin. So
Hi,
nice to have you with
Effie.
us today.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to talk to you for so long because I've been watching the amazing development of your brand since 2019. And I think it's a fantastic journey. You've been on amazing trajectory since the start, and I wonder if you can share with us how you did it, what was before you launched your brand, what you did, and where you started or worked. And finally, we'll talk about recent development is your, I guess, fight with the current administration on the topic of tariffs.
Okay.
Okay, how
Um,
did it all start?
okay. Yeah. So it started. I guess I'll go all the way back to FIT. So I went to FIT in New York City. Um, and actually, this is not something we talked about, but before that, I went to school for medicine
Mm,
at Drexel University in Philadelphia.
mhm,
And soon after I went there, I kind of realized I really miss being creative and um, I did not love pre-med as much as I thought that I would. I was always really into science and the body and just how that all worked. And I thought that was my passion, but I soon realized it wasn't. So I made a portfolio. I luckily got into FIT. I said, okay, if I get into FIT, I'll go. If not, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. But so I ended up, thank God, getting in. And then I spent a lot of time in New York. All throughout my college years, I was there. And then after that, I ended up working in New York City for a couple of different companies. I did ready to wear, and then I got recruited into an intimate apparel position at Ariel Alpha International. And that's kind of where my love for the intimate apparel world kind of started. It wasn't something that I planned on um, being into. I did not specialize in that in school, which there was a specialization for intimate apparel at the time. But yeah, once I got into it, I just loved it. I was able to fit lingerie and sleepwear on all types of women from sizes like extra small all the way up through 5X and just really be in that environment surrounded by women and making products that make them feel amazing. Um, Anything from like trendy, cute like camis and slips to more kind of shapewear styles. I got to work with pattern makers and I just really fell in love with the industry. I think it like opened a whole new world for me being there. After I was there, I was in New York City for about like 10, 11 years, and then decided to try and get a position down in Florida because my parents had relocated there years ago, and I was just kind of like sick of the craziness of New York City. I was like, I think I had enough. I need a break. New York City is amazing, but I think it gets really overwhelming, especially if you want to like start a family and have kids and all of those things. It just kind of felt like it was something out of reach in New York City. I don't think that was a priority for a lot of people, who are really focused on only their careers and other things. So I ended up getting a job at Cosabella, which was amazing. And that was headquartered in Miami. So I relocated down to Miami. I did not know anyone there, which was kind of crazy. But I worked my way up in that company to head of design, and I stayed at Cosabella for about 7 years. Then I ended up having my first baby, met my husband, had our first baby, and then I got another job with Ooh La La Cherie in Miami. And then soon after that, I kind of realized that workplace wasn't for me and my family. And my husband was just really encouraging and said, start your own thing. And at that point, I was just really nervous. Again, not something I planned on, not something that I really wanted to do, but I felt like having a family and I don't know, I just felt like it was time to kind of like be in control of my future, right? Not have someone else kind of dictating that for me.
That's so
Um,
amazing. I don't know even if you realize how amazing your decision was. You chose you and you chose your family,
mhm.
but you also chose your craft. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't one or the other. It was everything in this beautiful, balanced way.
hmm but yeah, it was very scary for sure. Like I sourced all my own factories. I didn't want there to be any sort of conflict of interest, anything like that. So I really designed my own things from scratch. I didn't like use anything that I was doing at other companies. It was like I designed a lot of my own laces, my own embroideries, found all new factories. And I probably in the beginning tested with like 20 different factories, like sending them tech packs and sketches and getting swatches and washing them and all those things. And then at the end, I chose probably 3 to 4 factories in the beginning to produce the line. And I just did a mix of sleepwear, intimate apparel, loungewear that really merchandised all together. My goal was to have a designer collection where I'm making my own prints, my own embroideries, all those things, but at a price that more people could afford. So like not that Cosabella level, but then the Ooh La La Cherie was more based on like I feel like the male gaze and it was like a little more sexy in a way. The materials were cheaper. That wasn't really the direction I wanted to go either, although that's also beautiful too. But then so yeah, I just kind of saw myself working in fitting in this niche that was not something that I felt was out there at the time. And I also wanted to create as many sizes as I could. So I think when we launched, we did sizes small all the way through 2X. And that was like as many sizes as I could like afford to pattern, produce, pay for, all that stuff. Now we do sizes up to 3X. So
That's
yeah, I
amazing.
started my own business and we kind of moved out into like the boonies in Florida. So kind of like a place where we could afford to live off just my husband's salary. And so we rented a cute little house, brought our baby with us, and then that was kind of like, okay, we decided I'm going to start this collection, I'm going to start this brand, did all the paperwork, moved out there. And then shortly after we moved out there, we found out we were pregnant with our second baby.
Hmm.
So I did all the development and everything alongside being pregnant
Wow.
with her. And I was also really, really sick with her. I was throwing up every day. Like it was a really crazy pregnancy, but I think like having that creative outlet and that thing, like, I quit my job. I have to do this thing, right? I'm not just gonna like quit my job and then not do anything. Like I felt this really big responsibility to make this happen.
Mhm.
Because I already told myself I was going to do it. So I think it kind of helped me push through, you know. Um, and then we ended up launching the week after we had the baby because all the goods were there. We set it up in the garage. My husband, my parents, we had like I think 2 racks of goods in the garage and we set up all the goods by size. Um, Everything was ready to go. And all I had to do was kind of like press the launch button on the website basically so everyone else could see it. But the whole time I was pregnant, I was behind the scenes building the website, doing the photo shoot, doing the copy, reaching out to buyers, all those things. So we launched like right after we had her.
That's amazing. It's like a journey of a hero. It is because I've watched the development of your brand on Instagram, and you've been always put together, just like now,
Oh,
beautiful. Even the post, I think, a few days after you had your second baby, you were
hmm.
still again beautiful, and just
Oh,
like
thank you.
that. I think it takes a lot of courage, and not just courage. It takes a lot of energy and power, and I mean, and drive. And I feel like everything you've accomplished can only be accomplished when you move from the place of love as opposed to place of fear.
Hmm.
And you've accomplished so much. And you know, your husband was supportive, and you just mentioned you reached out to 20 factories, not one,
Hmm.
two, three, five,
Hmm.
20, to
Hmm.
pick one or like two or three factories that really support your brand. That's amazing.
Hmm.
It's I hope you understand this. And I hope you understand what you've accomplished in such short period of time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's definitely highs and lows, you know. It's not always like this straight line of success. Like I know I think most people too, like I've seen that like picture before where it's like an ocean and like a little mountain and it's like, you know, success and it's like what people see. And then there's this
Mhm.
big rock of the mountain like underneath the ocean
Right.
that like people don't see, you know, and
Right.
that's like
So
so many.
sorry, I interrupted you. What was there? What was under the water for
Um,
you?
I mean, just all sorts of things from like having to move and having to start over and not having like family right near us and having this crazy pregnancy. And, you know, that was definitely like a curveball. Like, I didn't think I was going to be pregnant, like building the brand. I thought I was going to be energetic and waking up and ready to work and like all those things. And like, we almost lost her. Like, we went into the hospital. I was like hemorrhaging a lot. Yeah, like they like thought we were having a miscarriage and I was like basically on like bed rest. You know, I wasn't really supposed to do much, but I didn't have to because I wasn't like driving in the office and carrying things and doing all these things. I was like working from home. So it was like okay. But yeah, all sorts of things. Like we've had packaging that like customs seized because the company didn't enter the paperwork the right way and losing thousands of dollars. We've had like lawsuits for like you know like the website like ADA lawsuits where there's like things on the website that for people who are disabled they need to be able to everything has to be tagged. So if you post a picture of a woman in a robe behind that picture it has to say like women in robe at the farm, like there has to be like description. So all these little things that like I didn't know that we had to do, right? We launched on like a Shopify template. Like we got sued by this company that goes around and looks for websites that aren't perfect with their alt tags or alt things, doesn't have the right language, whatever it is, and they can sue you. And they look for vulnerable small businesses to come after and you know, and that happened before we were making any sort of profit. But all sorts of things like that, where it's just like these scary, like, it's like, okay, you want to own a business, like, be ready to like have things happen to you that feel like all your hard work is being taken away from you, you know, because everybody wants a piece. Everybody wants a piece of anything that you're making. There's been people smaller designers who've like copied our designs like inch by inch, like same exact thing, and then going to the same buyers and trying to sell that same product. Just all sorts of things, but I don't like to you know, talk about them too much because I don't want to like discourage people. And also, like, you know, for me, it's like bad things happen. And then I'm like, okay, I can like use that as like something to like drive me further to like get over it and to kind of like put it behind me. Or I can like wallow in it and be like, that was horrible. All my hard work is gone. Like, I'm never doing this again, but that's just not like how I choose to live my life. I choose like when something happens that's not good. And for the most part, I think, put a lot of effort into when things don't go my way to kind of just find ways around them. Like there's always some other way to like move, even if it's laterally, right? There's always another like solution or another way to figure things out.
That's a fantastic perspective. And I think that all designers coming from creative fields, especially,
Hmm.
have to know that because they have to understand what it takes to have a business
Hmm.
and what hurdles they will encounter along the way and what type of, I guess, mindset they have to succeed.
Yeah.
And you've
I
illustrated it amazingly.
Yeah, I think you really have to like really love it and really like put it in your head like I'm gonna succeed. Like as long as it's still fun, as long as it's something you still love doing, like you will succeed if you keep pushing forward. But if you're kind of like, I don't know, it's not worth it, it's too much, like then okay, then don't do something else. But if it's something that you really love, I feel like perseverance is like even if you don't really have that personality trait, you have to like dig for it. You have to find it because if you don't have it, I just don't think that having a business is a good idea. Because
Absolutely. No, it's not.
like every day there's something new. Like a shipment is late or something comes in wrong and then I have to like convince the factory to remake it or there's always something. There's always like all these moving parts and luckily I love all those moving parts. I think like being really busy like kind of drives me, when it's like too quiet, I'm like I get kind of bored. Um but yeah, it's a crazy ride.
Definitely. Um, can you tell us a little bit about how you created your store? Because I think it's also a very interesting story.
Sure. So we kind of like moved around a bunch. So we ended up making a plan. And in that plan, he was like, okay, if we go back to Florida, where do you want to live? Because we can't move again. Like we moved so many times.
Mhm.
A lot of times that I didn't even mention on here. But so we said, how about Sarasota? That's where he was born and raised. His parents are. My parents live close. We have, two babies now. Where should we move? So like, let's go to Sarasota, Florida, and we'll be close to family and it will be sunny and green and everything will be great. And so we sold our house, made a plan to move back to Sarasota. And at that point, when we got here, we were looking for just like a warehouse and design office. That's what we ended up getting in Colorado was our first commercial space. Um, all the places around here, the warehouses they were just really expensive. Like they didn't have, a lot of them didn't, they had like a little office in the front, but then the warehouse didn't have AC. So it's
Mhm.
like it gets so hot here. Like we can't have like product in poly bags
Mhm.
getting molded, getting whatever. Like
Of
we
course.
need like a fully air conditioned, like functioning place. And then there was this location that I kept seeing, and it's on this really busy road. It's called Tamiami Trail or like 41. And it's right next to Trader Joe's. I'm obsessed with Trader Joe's. I go there all the time.
Me
And
too.
so we I don't know, I just kept seeing like this like for rent sign, this
Mhm.
little like strip mall area, and I kept calling and calling and nobody was picking up. And so one day I just like drove from Trader Joe's right over here and I like looked in and you can see that there were guys in here like kind of working, like taking stuff down and it was just completely empty. So it was like a gutted space. And then still nothing. And then I called and called and finally this man picked up and he was like, yeah, it's going to be for rent and there's no plumbing or electricity or flooring. Like it was just like a shell of a space. And he kind of asked me, okay, what do you do? And I told him, about our company, what we do, and that we would need, a warehouse in the back. And what if because it's in a place where it's not a warehouse, so we would have to have some sort of storefront, right?
Mhm.
There's like a big sign out front, there's a big awning. were next to other storefronts too. And so it was like, okay, let's do a little store in the front and then have a warehouse in the back. And they were like, okay, so they gave us the lease and they like we built out the place and they helped with like the electricity, like the basic things. And then we, of course, paid for the other parts of the build out.
Great. Oh, that's
Mhm,
fantastic.
mhm,
I've learned currently that you fought with current administration on the
mhm.
topic of tariffs.
Yes.
And if you can share your experience, I've seen a few of your posts on LinkedIn a
Mhm,
couple years ago, um, and but then I didn't know the rest of the story. So if
mhm,
you can share it with us, would be amazing.
Sure. So yeah, so the tariffs, I think it was always a thing, right, in the back of my head that like, okay, we're working with China, we're working with factories overseas, like it's going to be it might be like a little bit of a tumultuous ride if something happens where we're not allowed to import from China, something's happening, like, there's tension or whatever. And whether it's China that's not choosing to work with us or if it's us not choosing to work with them, it's like there's always kind of this like relationship that feels like, ooh, like what if something happens? But I made the decision to work with China based on my experience in the industry, and I've worked with all different factories from Italy to Peru, China, and I just felt like the factories in China were very efficient, very quick. They follow direction really well. Their choice of materials is very vast, right? They can do seamless. I could design my own embroidery and they send me a swatch of it like a week later. Like I can design my own lace. I could dye my own lace. Like it's just a lot more design choices more easily and at a better price. So for me, that was kind of like a no-brainer. Like I've worked with India where you design samples and you get the sample 2.5, 3 months later. It's like
Mhm,
that's not for me and like the timeline I work on, that's just not um doable.
mhm,
So yeah, I decided to work with China, even though I know that there can be issues. And then working in the USA was not a choice just because again of the type of design and printing and like custom things that I do. The trims here don't exist, the machines here don't exist, the skilled laborers that do the certain designs that I do, they don't produce things like that here and have not been able to since the early 1970s when factories started moving out of the US. So there's just so much infrastructure here that does not unfortunately exist anymore. I would love to like fly up to New York City and spend a week with a factory and going over designs and looking at proto samples and doing all of that. I love like being in the factory, being around swatches and product and seeing how things are made. I have a lot of experience with that, but it's just unfortunately not something that exists here anymore and hasn't for a very long time.
right.
Um, so that's why I work with China. The tariffs was something I think that Trump had always kind of threatened, right? That he was going to build that up. And for his second term, he was going to impose them and they were going to be higher. But I don't think that what a lot of factories, or not a lot of factories, brands, companies who import, I don't really think that they thought they would be that high. Um, and then when he did impose the tariffs, they were so high on certain countries that it was almost like, okay, we can't import at all, right? We have this product that we designed a year ago, showed buyers a year ago, made prices on it a year ago,
Mhm,
and now when we import it, those prices are going to be double or
mhm,
more than double, right?
mhm,
So how can we import the product when we haven't been paid for it yet? We cannot raise prices with our buyers because then they will cancel their orders. What do we do? Right? You can't just like tell a company like, okay, everything that you've done, you now can't proceed and we have no other solution for you.
mhm.
Basically just telling you like, sorry, you know.
Because they
Um,
also expect payment from you for the goods and the materials that they produced, right?
Of course. And well, so when you produce at the factory, you normally pay a 50% deposit. And then when it's ready, you pay the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some goods that I already paid for in full that were shipping
Mm-hmm.
that I was like, what am I going to do? I can't bring it in. But there was some of it that I had to bring in because buyers are waiting for it. It's already in the air on the ship, whatever it is. And so it was already in motion. So we did pay really high tariffs on some of our spring, summer. Yeah, most of our summer collection last year, we like lost thousands and thousands of dollars. We just brought it in, paid the tariffs, sent out the orders to buyers like normal, got their money, hardly made a dent in anything. Um, but we were like, we don't want to, like, what are we going to do?
Of course,
Right?
you
Just
also have to protect your future business with these retailers.
exactly. And I think it was a really touchy subject, right? Like Walmart said they were going to raise price. It was like anybody who kind of spoke out was all of a sudden somebody who like hates America, which is like
Mhm.
really not true. Like my father is a Vietnam veteran. Like a lot of my family is very conservative. Um, yeah, that just wasn't the case at all. So it just was really upsetting to me and just really like, that's not really the case though. Like it doesn't mean that you hate America when this is going on. Like the government is literally choosing to close American businesses and what I consider stealing money from
Mhm.
American businesses,
So,
taking money from them and putting it into who knows what. But,
right.
you
So it
know,
wasn't the best decision of this administration, although I like many decisions that they made, but this was not a something that was done timely
hmm
or properly.
hmm
And it was also very unexpected. It was very abrupt, correct?
yes.
That increase in tariffs.
Yeah.
Um, so how did you fight it?
Okay, so yeah, when that happened, it was called Liberation Day. And it was the day that he got up there on the podium with that big uh sign, all the countries, how much anybody owed. So that happened. And then the very next day, I was just like, when that happened, I was like beside myself. I was like, what are we going to do with this entire business, with all of these goods that we designed, fit, paid for, spent time like showing buyers, doing Zoom, showing the collection, talking about the collection, making the things, doing the photo shoot, putting them on the website, writing the copy, doing the prices, like so many things, like the artwork. It was just like my brain was like gonna explode. I was like, and I literally pay for it and I can't bring it in. Like, and I was just crazy. So I woke up the next morning and just like went right into my home office and I just started emailing, calling anyone I could. I called the White House. I got this like secretary and she gave me emails. But I emailed, I forget the guy's name. Scott Bessent, maybe. It was like the trade guy or Peter Navarro. I emailed Trump. I emailed all of them. I wrote this long letter about like who I am, what my company is, why this affects us, that I don't think they realize it affects us, because it's like I don't think any American president, if you're Republican, Democrat, whatever you are, I don't think if you really realized how this would affect small mom and pop American companies, even bigger ones, ones that like drive the economy and keep things moving forward. Like all these big American companies, Target, Kohl's, they're all importing, right? And it's like that's going to affect so many people. And it's like, did they really think about that? Did they really study about what that would do immediately to so many people and so many businesses? Why would they make that decision? And why aren't they telling people that it's us paying it and not the other countries? Because I still hear press conferences that China is paying,
Mm,
right? That India is paying, that all these other countries, they're paying and they're not. And I think it's really scary to tell the American people that there's other countries paying these tariffs and that they owe us and that we've been doing so much for them for so long and these countries owe us and we're finally getting our fair share. Like, that is not the truth. It's not even like 1% of the truth. American business owners and importers pay 100% of these tariffs of goods coming into our country.
mhm.
If our goods go out to another country, then the receiving country pays tariffs on our goods,
Mhm.
right? But we're not a manufacturing country, so that doesn't matter. I have receipts. I know people that have receipts. You can see DHL will email you, UPS, before the shipment comes through your door. You will get an email with your importer number, your business name, how much your shipment is worth, and how much the tariff is on your particular shipment. And unless you pay it online, the goods will not come to your door. They have to be paid in full.
Mhm.
And you can see the breakdown. You know, if a shipment was $12,000 back at the time where they were high, your tariffs were $6,000. And so before you'd have that, they weren't even close to that. And then the NCLA, we contacted them, they wrote us back, and we were able to join the first lawsuit that was filed against the president directly and the government for the illegal use of tariffs. And yeah, we joined that lawsuit, and it's just kind of been working its way through the courts this past year. I think it was filed maybe in May of last year. Um, and so there was one other case that made it through the courts quicker than us, and they just actually won in the Supreme Court. So we were also tied to that case. We were the amicus briefs on that case, which means we present and submit evidence that shows, you know, the tariffs are really hurting small businesses. These are our receipts. This is how much we pay for shipments. This is how much the tariffs are. And just really basically prove the impact that it has on businesses. And so they won in the Supreme Court, and I believe there were three conservative justices. Two of them were appointed by Trump, and then the other three were Democrat, I think, justices. But I think it just kind of proves that it's not like a right or left, liberal, non-liberal issue. It's like a right or wrong
Mhm.
thing. It's not about whether you like Trump or not. It's exposing what is happening to the American people and letting everybody know that this is happening so that we can hopefully move forward in a different direction and keep keep our small businesses. Like it wasn't just about me, it was other brands, boutique owners, everybody in our little industry that like I love so much. It wasn't just like me and my family and our profits that I was thinking about. It's like, what about everyone else? Like this is happening to me. It's not just me. It's
Mhm.
every single person who's importing. How many people is that? Right? You go to Walmart, you go to Target, like all the things you need. And you have all these hardworking, amazing people in other countries. And we're just like, they owe us. Like they're terrible. They've been stealing from us. Like they've been like, no, they're human beings who live on this earth, who are skilled workers, who don't make a ton of money, who, you know, work their butts off making product for us to make our lives easier, and we're gonna like talk badly about them. It's like we're all like in this together. We gave up on manufacturing. We gave that opportunity to them
As a
over
country. Yes,
over 50
absolutely.
years ago, and now
Mhm.
we want it back? I don't think so. The vast infrastructure that has been built overseas for manufacturing, I think, is more far and wide than anyone can imagine.
Mhm.
The villages, the workers, where they make fabrics, where they dye the fabrics, where they make trims, the special machines, all the workers that travel from small villages to the bigger cities just so they could be working and making money and sending money back to their families. Like, you're not going to have people here in America who want to do that
Mhm.
at all. And I think it's really silly to even think that that would be something that American people would be okay doing and want to do. It's hard to get people to show up for work for fun jobs
Mhm.
here. It's hard to get people to show up for work for inspiring work, for fun work, for work that pays well. You think you're going to have 20-year-old American people wanting to learn how to sew and sit behind a sewing machine all day long for hardly any money? I think that's the silliest idea I've ever heard.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, so yeah, that's what we did, and I'm proud to say that we took part in helping American companies earn back $166 billion that was taken from us.
Mm,
And
quite
so
an impressive number. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. There's now a very complicated way to get money back from the tariffs. Of course, they will not be making it easy. And if you want to get money back from the tariffs, again, you need to have perseverance and grit and all those things because it's not going to be handed back to you. It's going to be another fight. But there are systems in place now where you can sign up, get up on a portal, enter in all this data. Probably be a game of like waiting, following up, checking. Did you do it right? Did you not do it right? Um, all these ways to kind of submit the information to hopefully get the money back. So that has just been implemented by law. And so Customs and Border Patrol is leading that system.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of like the next steps. I just wish that they would be more transparent about it or really find a way to actually get tariffs paid by other countries or say, hey, if you want to do business with America, this is tax you have to pay. I don't know if that's something they'd even be open to, but I do want people to know that it's not other countries paying for it, it's us.
Absolutely.
So,
Well,
mhm.
thank you so much, Kristen. That was such an amazing story and journey of yours, and I'm so grateful to you for sharing it with us. And I know that so many small businesses and founders uh, and brands will appreciate it. Appreciate it because
Mhm.
everybody needs a beacon to understand that things are possible, and you are that beacon. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Well, it was so good to talk with you too. And thank you for giving me the time and to tell my story. And yeah, it was just so good to see you and chat.
Absolutely. You as well. All the
Mhm.
best to you and your
Okay.
brand.
Okay. Thank you. All the best to you as well. Thank you, Ozzy.